I scaled my marketing agency from 4K a month to 20K a month by reading these 7 books, and today we're going to be rating them from F tier to S tier. Now, when I'm talking about these books, this isn't a scripted video. This is really off the cuff, what I'm thinking now, what I've learned that's actually stayed in my head, because that's what matters, right? What has actually stayed in your head all this time from when you read the book? If you read the book and you forget it all after, what's the point? And what's so important about learning and reading these books is you need to implement right away, because you're going to forget about it. A lot of people, they like to read self-help books and business books, but they don't implement any of the stuff that they learn, and then they forget about it and it goes to waste. So what I did by reading these books was I read the book, I implemented, I iterated. That's what I did. And that's how I was able to go from 4K a month in my agency to 20K a month in my agency. And today I'm going to be rating these books. So again, no scripts, just off the top of my head, what I think about every single book. So first of all, we're going to be starting with this book. This is Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Suby. So the reason I bought this book is because Sabri Suby was nonstop in my ads feed on Facebook and Instagram. So I couldn't stop seeing this guy. I was just starting my online business like a couple years ago, and he's got this book. And he was like, my book is free. You just got to pay shipping and handling, which is what all these guys do. All their books are free, but you're paying shipping and handling. So I was like, you know what? I like this guy. His ads are crazy. Let's buy his book. Whatever, I'll pay the shipping and handling fees. And book comes in the mail, and I start reading it. So what's really great about this book is it teaches you how to market not just to the 3% of people that want to buy now, but also the 97% of people that want to buy in 3 months' time, or maybe they don't know they have a problem yet. You got to uncover that. And the main thing that I got out of this book was you need to create a great lead magnet. So what I did with this book was right away after I read it, I had created a lead magnet that I wrote completely by myself, not AI, for restaurant owners. And inside of this lead magnet, what he calls it a high value content offer, right? Inside of my lead magnet, I basically set up a 10-step system for restaurant owners to get more customers in the door. And then I started running ads to a landing page, which, gated this PDF document, which they could download. I got a bunch of leads, but no sales from it, unfortunately. I don't think that's necessarily because the strategy was bad. I still use these strategies to this day. It's more so the fact that the audience was bad. Like, restaurant owners were not a good niche for me. Maybe I wasn't skilled enough at the time, but still. Maybe I had one restaurant client. Guy was working 80 hours a week. Terrible to work with because you can't reach these people. They're stressed whatsoever, like just a nightmare. So the niche wasn't great. But today with financial advisors, I use it for their marketing, so for my client marketing, and also for my own marketing. I still give away lead magnets and case studies and all that stuff because yes, it attracts learners, but people need to learn. In order to convert them, they need to learn about the problems that they don't know they have yet, right? You gotta show them the gaps. They don't know the gaps. You got to show them. So that's what these case study documents, these high value content offers, these guides, these free guides that you trade for a lead, that's what they're for, right? So actually, because I use this book to this day, and he also talks about mindset, and he's like, I get up at 4:30 and I outperform everybody because I just outwork people. The guy's a dog. I think he runs like a multi 8-figure agency, right? His YouTube videos are fire. I would recommend watch his stuff. Still watch his stuff to this day. He's also on Shark Tank. So on Shark Tank Australia. So S tier, honestly, one of the best books. It's all in one. Like, you get a lot out of it. It's a good beginner book to learn how to set up your first sales funnel, how to follow up with leads, how to nurture leads and close deals. He also has a sales script in here that I use to close first couple deals, right? It's basic, but it works. So awesome book. Next up, we got Russell Brunson, the Russell Brunson series. Russell Brunson's a legend in the online marketing space. And these 3 books go a bit more in depth, as you would say, than Sabri does. But it's more about info rather than like B2B services, which is what I do. You know, I'm working with financial advisors, and other business owners. So it's not as much about B2B, but the strategies still work. The marketing strategies definitely work. And there's basically a 3-step ladder with these books. So you got .com Secrets teaches you how to make sales funnels. So there's a lot of different funnels you can make, right? You can make VSL funnels, you can make call funnels, you can make application funnels, you make your webinar funnels, a live event, seminar funnels, like all these funnels you can make. Great book. Used his VSL script. It did get me some clients to give me a lot of leads. It works for sure. And then Traffic Secrets is basically you need traffic, right? So you need to run ads, you need to post content. He talks about, hey, you should follow your dream 100 customers or your dream 100 clients, and do your best to interact with all of them and provide so much valuable that they want to become your clients, right? So he talks about that. He's like, don't scroll on social media, only post on social media every single day. Interact with your dream 100, comment on their posts, provide value, do interviews with them, and steal their traffic. So that was a very cool angle that I never thought of before. He talked about you can go on somebody else's show. So a show could be a podcast, it could be a YouTube video, it could be Instagram Live, whatever, Facebook Live, whatever. And you could go on their show and steal their traffic because they have an audience. And now you go there and present yourself. Now you're stealing their traffic, right? Additionally, you can run ads from their account with you inside the ad, and you put your credit card. Those were a couple cool angles that he talked about. He's basically talking about how do you run ads, how do you post content, how do you get the traffic into your funnels, right? And it's more basic than people think. People overcomplicate getting traffic. It's just a lot of time it's a volume game. You got to post every day. You got to interact with people every day. Don't consume, produce, right? So Traffic Secrets, very useful. These 3 books, I use the funnels for sure. He talked about you got to post a lot. I post a lot, right? And then I did use his scripts as well. So very useful. I would say that if I took all 3 books and we had to rate them, so let me take out my tier sheet here. This one I use for sure, and I love using the hooks in there too. So like a headline, for example, on a landing page, you need to create a good headline. This one gives away how to create those good headlines. And I use those to this day. So for example, a good headline could be how to get more qualified leads without going to networking events, cold calling, or just relying on referrals. Or it could be save 15 hours a week and make 5 times more money without cold calling, for example. And then the sub headline could be like, watch the video that uncovers how. And then it's a VSL. Like all those frameworks about headlines, sub headlines, how to structure your funnel, that's all in here and also a bit in here. So I would say this one is so specific. I gotta go, I'm gonna say A tier. A tier for sure. And then this one, it's pretty basic. I'm gonna say C tier. And then for that one, B tier for sure. His books are great. Now we're moving on to Hormozi, some books that I read. And there's 3 different books. Let's talk about from start to finish. So the first book is $100 Million Leads, right? So let me just pull this out here and try to move this without collapsing everything. $100 Million Leads. Very similar to Traffic Secrets. Essentially, it's like, how do we get more leads? And, traffic leads go hand in hand. So he essentially talks about the rule of 100. So whether that's 100 cold outreach messages, warm outreach messages, 100 minutes of content posted per day, or 100 minutes of ads made per day, right? It's a volume game. It's true. I mean, outreach is simply, or marketing is simply a volume game as a small business owner when you start. You don't have the capital, so you need to, if you're bootstrapping your business, you need to be able to reach out to as many people as possible on a daily basis, right? So when I was first starting out with my business, that was cold calling. I was doing, not enough to start. I was making a few calls a day, and then I realized, wow, this is not working. I need to do way more calls, up to the point where I was making, 50 calls a day, sometimes 100 calls a day. So this book talks about the rule of 100. Take a 4-hour chunk of your day and just do outreach, and you're guaranteed to get clients. Like there's no way that if you do 100 outreaches a day, you don't close deals. Like it's just impossible. Yes, it's hard, but it works, right? You're doing so much work that it's impossible for you to fail in that realm. Another thing he talks about in that book is basically like the 4 pillars, right? You got cold outreach, you got warm outreach, ads, and content. And each of them work in their own separate ways. And he talks about all the different businesses he grew with each method. And then he also talks about affiliates. So affiliates or agencies. Affiliates and agencies are also lead getters. Let's talk a bit more about those 4 specific methods, right? Because they all play their own role, and you can see a pattern there. So cold outreach, likely if you're a new business owner, you're going to be doing cold outreach. You're not going to have money for ads. So, unless you want to risk putting your credit card down and getting leads and having to close those leads to make the ad spend back. You probably don't have the skills to do that. Paid ads is another form of cold outreach, right? But it doesn't take your time like doing manual cold outreach does. You're not sitting there picking up the phone dialing. The ads, you're spending money, so you're taking a risk. It's going out there, it's grabbing people into your funnels, which then convert them into leads, and then you follow up with the leads automatically, and you book calls, you close deals, right? Besides that, he talks about content, which is warm outreach, right? When you make content, you build an audience. This audience is warm because they've been watching you for many months. And if you spam a lot of content, you put a lot of content out, it might take you 3 to 6 months, might take you 9 months, or a year, or a few years. But you will make an audience that is warm, and those warm customers, those warm leads, they close a lot easier. So I would say for content, you should be making content along the way. So as you're building your business, you start making content, and the content that performs well, you can put that into ads, and then just put an overlay or put a hook and a call to action on top of the content, and you can make that into an ad. So you can combine that. The reason I also like content is because it just makes you really good at making little videos that you're going to use to make ads. So you're going to know what converts. You're going to know what drives what keeps people entertained, keeps people watching the video more than 3 seconds past the hook, and it keeps people engaged, so that for example, with me, if I'm with a client of mine, a financial advisor, we're filming ads about overpaying tax, I know how to keep people engaged. I know that every 3 seconds we need to make a new clip, because I've been doing content for a couple of years now. I've been doing content now since the summer. So making content every day. And on my business page, even longer. I've been making content for a couple years. So that's really going to teach you how to make videos and images that convert people. So I would do content at the same time as everything else. Finally, you've got warm outreach, as in referrals. So people you know, or people that you know and they know. How to make $100 Million Offers is the book that teaches you how to make an offer that is so good that people say stupid saying no, right? And he talks about all the different offers that you can make. And in my opinion, these offers, they would have worked very well maybe a year or 2 years ago, but they've been regurgitated so many times that you got to tweak it and make it look a bit more realistic, right? So when people say, I'll get you 96 appointments in 3 months or you don't pay, that's a bold claim, right? And not only is that a bold claim, people don't realize that there's a legally binding element to that. You can't just make claims like that in your advertising and not follow up with that, right? You can actually be hunted down by the FTC or whatever it is in Canada, and you can get charged for that. So you need to put disclaimers if you're making offers crazy like that, which people don't realize. So yes, you can make crazy offers, but are you able to follow up on these offers is the question, right? So you have to make an offer that is very good, but also an offer that you're able to deliver on. Don't bullshit. Don't say, I'll get you this, but then you don't deliver. No. You need to know that you can get that result for that person. So I'm going to give this one, I didn't get much out of it, to be honest. I'm going to give it an F tier. It wasn't great. So, but this one though, this one is the banger. So the Money Models book really changed the game for me because he teaches you, first of all, about introduction offers. So it's still offers, right? But it's just more about the money side of it rather than like the guarantee and different types of offer side of it. So he talks about, first of all, introduction offers. So how do you attract somebody with a good money model offer? Then he talks about upsells and downsells. So how do you upsell somebody or downsell somebody if they're not interested? And then how do you make a continuity offer over a long period of time to get the most lifetime value out of a customer? So in terms of continuity offer, in terms of introduction offers, the book really talks about, how do you make an offer that is so good on the money side that it feels stupid saying no. So it's like, for example, a win your money back guarantee. So he talked about his gyms and how he was able to get $600 up front in memberships to recoup ad spend immediately, like 30x from all his customers. And if you're in the gym business, or if you go to a gym, you know that most gyms charge like $100 a month, but they never make you pay up front. So what he did is he made a challenge where it was, if you lose this amount of weight or whatever your goal is, by the time you're done with this 3-month challenge or whatever, you get your money back. Like you win your money back by reaching the goal. And then by the time those people reach the goal, he would turn it into credit. So the goal that they just reached, they turn it into credit. So it's like, okay, you paid $600. You're happy with the result, right? You want to leave right now and go back to what you were doing and eating McDonald's or whatever? Or you want to use the $600 you just won back as credit for the next year. But $600 is not even for the whole year, right? So they're just getting a discount for the whole year. So like really smart ways to charge people and increase lifetime value, get cash up front, and making a really good offer in the meantime. So very smart methods in that way. And then he also talked about taking cash up front versus taking cash down the line. But the upfront commitment is less in time, right? So continuity means longer. It means, let's say, a year. Another thing that was very useful for me, which I use, is pay less now or pay more later. So let's say you have a program that's 4 months long. Let's say it's 10 grand. If you have the customer pay less now, so you give 10% off upfront. If you pay 9K now, you get 10% off plus bonuses. So bonuses are a big thing. If you give out bonuses for people that pay upfront, so you encourage that plus discounts, and the person has the money, there's no reason as to why they shouldn't do that. Then he talks about financing. Let's say car dealerships, right? Car dealerships have been using financing companies for the longest time. A lot of people, when they buy a car, they finance it for years, right? Because they see, okay, I only have to pay a few $100 a month, and that's a great deal. Even though it's not, even though they're getting shafted. You can use financing companies for your business too. So that means, hey, we'll still give you the upfront pay less now offer if you finance it with Affirm or Klarna. And by doing so, you as the business owner, you get all the cash up front from the financing company, and the customer gets to finance it over time so they don't have to pay it all up front. So financing companies are a great tool to use to get as much upfront cash as possible. Let's say you're running ads, you want to recoup ad spend. So that's another thing. Then he talks about upsells and downsells. Upsells and downsells. Upsells, give them more of what they already have, for example. Give them more of that. So let's say you sell advertising. What's next? They need a CRM. Sell that on top as an upsell. Sell management of the CRM. Or a downsell. Let's say, oh, I don't really like the full package. Okay, what about just ads so you can get started with getting leads now? And we're going to remove the feature of the CRM, but you still get leads. And then if you like that, you can always upgrade for half the price. That's a downsell. And downsells could also include split payments. So let's say that you have a 10K program. They didn't want to pay less now. They didn't want to use Klarna financing. They didn't want to do a split payment over 4 months. Then he talked about pay later in terms of when do you get paid next? Because that's a common objection. I don't get paid till the 5th next month. Okay, you'll still get the whole deal if you put your credit card down today and we charge it on the day you get paid, for example. So all these different ways of getting more lifetime value out of a customer, both on the front end, the back end, upsells, downsells, and then continuity offers, right? Continuity offers could be a retainer. Whereas with a retainer, you can pay more upfront, or if they go straight into the retainer, you have them pay 30% less per month if they were to do an upfront commitment, for example. So all these money models, very good. He also talks about how the fact that you can change pricing as a business owner, right? Who's stopping you from doubling your price if you're too busy? If you have 10 customers, you can only handle 15, and you're nearing that. Why don't you double prices? And then you have less customers, less headache, and you make more money. It's pretty worth it, right? And as long as you can position the outcome as being 10 times that of the cost. So let's say I work with a financial advisor. I know that if I can get them one corporate life insurance case, or if I can get them one on the investment side, if I can get them one $1 million AUM client, the lifetime value of that is $100,000. And so I'd like minimum. And so then I can charge 10K for the setup of the system, no problem. Before my continuity offer, before my upsells, before my downsells. And this book teaches all of that. This book is an S tier, 100% worth it. I really recommend it. Out of these 3 books here, definitely the best one. So the big question is, which book is my favorite? I'm going to tell you guys right now, out of all of these books, the one that has been the most useful to me is definitely this book, Sell Like Crazy by Sabri Suby. Yes, it's for more on the beginner side, but it really helped me at the start. But it covers so much stuff. Like, there's so much sauce in here. It's a great book. I recommend it. And then this book would be a close second, but this is more advanced stuff. So I would say these 2 books are the best ones that I read. If I was selling info, it would be like one of these. These ones go very in depth. I still use the frameworks in these ones. And then these books are more for beginners, like entrepreneurs, like wannabe business owners. Like, if you want to get started, I would read these books. It's the basics of how to get your first few customers. So yeah, those are all the Marketing Guru books. I just explained every single one to you so you don't have to read them, even though I still recommend reading them, of course. But yeah, just like I said in the intro, the most important part of this is not that you just read the book, but you implement it right away and you see what works and what doesn't. And I think that's what the most important thing is of learning anything. Don't just learn, because if you just learn, nothing's going to change, dude. You got to take action. You'll learn way more from taking action. These books can give you ideas, but you need to act on those ideas. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but before we end it, I want to offer you guys my book, which is not a book. It's 18 pages, It's a complete done for you guide of it's a complete done with you guide of how to generate leads with Facebook ads. So how to do the research, the marketing research required, how to set up ad campaigns, how to use softwares like Go High Level to nurture leads, how to close leads from cold traffic. All of that is packaged into an 18-page guide, which I wrote back in November. Of course, some of the videos inside. So there's both videos and written portions. So there's a 5-step guide with both written instructions and video instructions. So I put a lot of work into that over time. And I would highly recommend that you opt in for it. It's just an email address. And by opting in, you also get my daily marketing email. So just opt in there. It's in the description below. And yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. It was completely off the cuff. And hope you guys enjoy it and implement right away. So have a good one and stay tuned for more videos.